today our topic is plant and animal adaptations. Okay, students, although we have started this new uh, topic of adaptation already in our last lesson, but today, inshallah, we will talk about more details of plant and animal adaptation. Okay, so let's start the uh, lesson. That what is that adaptation and how it helps the animals to survive in nature. Okay, so animals have some adaptive features which help them to survive in nature. Okay, they are suited to their environments and they are part of food chain. What it, students, we had learned about food chain. Because of these special adaptive features, the animals can survive well in the environment, because the animals have to survive in the environment because um, they have to protect them from all the other you can say animals. Got it? Means if they will not have some adaptive features, they cannot survive in the environment. They may be eaten by other animals or they may be harmed by other animals. Got it? So in this way they become a part of food chain. Okay, so next to it is that, first of all, we will talk about that the animals which live in polar regions, how do they survive. Okay, so you are watching or you are observing the picture of two animals like this polar bear and the yak. Okay, so in cold places, animals that live in very cold places have thick fur on their body. Okay, you can see that how much thick fur this polar bear is having, how much thick fur this yak is having. So when they have this thick fur on their body, that protects them from cold. Got it? That protects them from cold. So it is cold on the mountains and in the polar regions. Okay, it is very, very cold. All of you know, because polar regions are always very cold. So a yak lives in the mountains and a polar bear lives in a polar region. So when they have to live for all the time in that polar region or in these cold regions, then they have this thick fur adaptation. Got it, students? So this thick fur is their adaptation. When they have this thick fur, they can survive in their environment, and again that they become a good part of the food chain. Got it, students? So this is our first category, that the animals which live in the polar regions. Okay, okay. So next we will go for the animals that live in hot places. Okay, like the desert. All of you know that a desert is a very warm place. Huh? You have learnt about it, and our surrounding is also somehow like the desert. So the air is very hot and dry. Okay, this is the climatic conditions of the desert. There is very little rain. The soil is very sandy. So these are some of the features of the desert. It's a warm place. The air is very hot and dry. There is very little rain over there, and the soil is very sandy. Okay, means the soil is just like the soil is basically like a sand. So how the animals or the plants that live in these hot places, they survive? Most animals that live in the desert sleep during the day because it is too hot during the day. Got it, students? And they come out at night to eat. Got it? They come out at night to eat. Such type of animals, students, which sleep during the day and come out at night, that special type of animals are called as nocturnals. What we call them? Nocturnals. Okay, so these nocturnals, they will be able to survive in the desert conditions, because in daytime, because it is very hot, so they don't come, and at night time they come out for their eating and survival, and that is called, these type of animals are called nocturnal. Okay, so you will find out the examples of some nocturnal today in through Google, or you can search about that. You find out the names of some nocturnal animals. Okay, I'm assigning you this a simple assignment. Just find out the names of nocturnal animals. Okay, then some desert animals burrow in the ground during the day. Okay, means they start burrowing the soil, the sand in the ground, and then they go inside of it during the daytime, because again it is very hot during the daytime in the deserts. Now let's have a look on the plants. That many plants have thick leaves in the desert to retain water. You can see the example of this desert plant, which is called as cactus. They have spines, they have thick fleshy stems, they have thick leaves which can hold the water in it. Okay, because already there is no rain, no watering of the plants, so whatever water they have, they need it for their own functioning, so they retain it. How they adapt this feature? That they adapt it through the thick leaves, by spines on it, by having thick fleshy stems, maybe. Then, most desert animals get their water from the food they eat. Okay, most desert animals get their water from the food they eat. Means their food is such type of food which is also providing them somehow water as well, because they have no source of you can say much water, huh? So this is why whatever food they have, they just go for it, and that is enough for their water also. Now I'm sharing the very common example of desert, and that is the camel. Yes, this is very common example of the desert animals. Okay, now I'm sharing, students, that how within a camel structure, what special features are helping this animal to live a long time in the deserts. Okay, now see, first of all, a camel has stretchy nostrils. You can see these nostrils, huh? They are stretchy, they are long. Hmm? So when they have stretchy nostrils, they keep out the sand. Means the sand will not go inside of their body through the nostrils. So when they have stretchy nostrils, it comes out of it. Then leathery mouth, means their mouth is somehow leathery. Why? That leathery mouth help camel eat the spiky plants. Means it will enable the camel to eat up the spikes, because it has to feed on the food which is available in the desert. Okay, students, so when they want to take this food, definitely they have to like braise that hard and the spiky plants, so it has this um, leathery mouth. Okay, then long legs, huh? Long legs keep the camel off hot sand and help to keep cool. Got it? Means when the camel has to walk during the daytime, it keeps the hot sand off, and it helps to keep it cool. Then it has long eyelashes, huh? Which help to keep the sand out of the eyes. Stretchy nostrils keep sand out of their nose, and long eyelashes help to keep the sand out of the eyes. Okay, so these stretchy nostrils, leathery mouth, long legs, long eyelashes, all are these are its adaptations. So I hope now you are understanding that how the same body parts become the adaptations for the animals. Okay, so this is then hair on the back, huh? This, they sometimes they have the hair on the back which protect them against the sun, because again they have to live in the harsh climate of desert, so this sun protects it from there. And all of you have observed this very prominent feature of camel, and I do hope that every one of you know that this is called as hump. Yes, what it is called? Hump. This hump is used for storing food, because you know that camels can survive in the desert for many days without water and without any food. So when it has to survive without food, whenever it eats up any food, it keeps stores the food in the form of fats in this hump, and it is utilizing and it is using this uh, food from that fat which is present over there. Okay, then these padded feet, huh? These padded, you can see these padded feet that stop sinking into the sand and to protect from heat of the ground, because it has to keep in the sand all the time, all the time, all the time. So when we walk on sand, sometimes we feel that our feet goes inside of the sand, and we cannot, or we are not able to walk in sand properly. But because of these padded feet, they are easily, they can move into the sand. Okay, so I hope students you have well understand about the adaptive features of a camel. Okay, okay, so moving next to the desert plants. Now I have already talked about it, but here again you can see that the plants, some plants can grow in deserts, other plants cannot. So they are very special plants which can survive in the desert. Okay, so plants that grow in deserts have adaptations that help them to survive with little water. So how they survive in this desert condition? Number one, they have special roots. Got it? Means they have shallow widespread roots, means they are very shallow, having no space in between. And then they are means they are spreading for a long distance in the soil. Got it? So that whatever water they get in from the soil, they help it to absorb for the plant. Then they have special leaves and the stems to help store the water. huh? So when the plant has these spine, it helps the plant not to lose the water from the fleshy stem. Okay, so the again they told that spines and thorns protect from thirsty animals. Okay, when the spines will be there, no um, no animal can eat it up. Okay, no animal will come to eat that type of plant because spines are there. Okay, now the next about this adaptations we will talk about now, about the journal adaptation. Okay, we have learned about the adaptations in polar regions. We have just talked about the adaptations for the animals which live in the hot places. Now we are talking about some journal animals. Okay, common animals, how they are having some special adaptations. So all the animals and the plants that live on the planet Earth have had to adapt over time to survive in the habitats that they are found in and live in. Habitats may change slowly or sometimes quickly over time. Means habitat is the place where the habitat is the place where the animals are living. Yes, habitat is the place where the animal is living. So sometimes the animals remain in their same habitat for the whole life, and sometimes because of certain conditions they may change their habitat, because maybe you have heard students that the birds may migrate to other regions or the warmer regions. If they are living in the colder regions, they migrate from one place to another place. Okay, so animals may change their habitats, but still they may have some, permanent habitat as well. So if the animals that live there don't also change and adapt, they may die out and become extinct. Yes, dear students, this is what I told you in the start, that if the animals do not have some these changes or the adaptations, they may die out and become extinct. Okay, so So the fish that live in water, huh? To live in water, their bodies have had to adapt. And what are their adaptations? They include gills, fins, and a streamlined body. Huh? The body of this fish, which is in this way, this way. It is in this way. This type of body shape is called as streamlined body. Okay. Then the birds, they can fly. In order to fly, birds have had to adapt their bodies. And what are their adaptations? They include wings, feathers, and a streamlined body. Okay. Water lilies live in water. To live in water, they have had to adapt. These adaptations, what are their adaptations? They may have these flat and the waxy leaves, huh? Large, flat, waxy leaves. Waxy leaves means they have some a slippery material on their leaves. Got it? Because that waxy leaves help them to float on the water. Water lilies always keep floating on the water. So these features means large, flat and waxy leaves help them to float in the water. Okay, students? So I hope that every one of you are well understanding about the different adaptations in different animals and the plants. Okay. Moving next to it now, we will talk about physical adaptations. Okay, means here I want to tell you what are the different features which help the animals for their adaptations. Like they may have fur, they may have feathers, they may have scales. Okay, then another type of adaptation may be from the color point of view. They may have patterns on their body like this. They may have the matched surrounding, as we have learned in our last lesson, that sometimes the animals just camouflage according to the surrounding. Huh? Like a grasshopper sitting on leaves, you cannot identify it because both are green in color, so we cannot find them out easily. Got it? Then the body parts, they may have beak, they may have antlers, they may have ears and the claws. These all body parts are also help them to adapt well in the environment because they have to survive them from the other animals and all that. And some defenses, how? Venom, spray or quills. Venom is basically the poison of the snake. Huh? So because all of you know we are always afraid of snake. Why? Because it may not bite us, and whenever a snake bites us, you know that death can be caused. So it is its defense physical adaptation for the snake. Okay, students? Okay. Now moving to the next. Again, there are some few examples of some animal adaptations. Okay. All of you have or all of you are well familiar of these claws. Many animals have these claws at their feet. Huh? So what is this claw? A claw is a structural adaptation that some animals like eagles use to hunt prey, but some animals like an armadillo use claws to dig the burrows. So there are multiple functions of claws, but mostly claw is used to hunt the prey. But as you have seen, some animals use these claws to dig the burrows, means to they it helps it to remove the sand from the ground and they make their burrows over there. Okay, then another adaptation is in the form of shell. Again, I hope that every one of you know most of the animals name who have the shell on their body. So a shell is a structural adaptation that some animals are born with on their bodies, means when they are born they are already having shell on their body. Okay, so most animals use this shell as a protection mechanism against the predators, means when they want to hide them from some predator, means the animal which coming to hunt it, they protect them inside of this shell, and that animal cannot find that where that animal has gone, so it is protected. Okay, so shell is also a protective, or you can say defensive, physical adaptation of any animal. Then fur, we have already talked about it. Fur is a structural adaptation. It is present all around the skin, and it is used by the animals to keep warm in extremely cold environments, isn't it? We have just talked about the polar region, this animals, huh? So we have seen that how these this thick fur help them to survive in the environment. Okay, so this is about this fur. Now we will talk about these spines. Okay, spines, you have seen that some animals may have these long spike like or the spine like features on their bodies. Okay, so spines are an adaptation some animals use to protect themselves from predators, much like a shell, but in a much more better way. Okay, in a much more better way. So these spines, they help to protect the animals from the predators. And then teeth, which is most important structural adaptation, huh? Because we have learned in our last lesson about the carnivore students, and we had learned that carnivores have a very sharp teeth. Why? Because they have to tear the meat or the flesh of other animals, isn't it? So type of teeth is very important structural adaptation which help the some animals to break down the food. Got it, students? So claw, shell, fur, spines, teeth, these are some general adaptations, or you can say common adaptations in some animals. Okay, so now we will talk about the next part. There are also some um, you can say there are also some adaptations which help to survive in the environment. Okay, so what are they? We have already learned about it, but still we will talk about it right now. That what are some adaptations that would help organisms to protect themselves? Okay, first one is this camouflage. What do we mean by this camouflage? Means the animal change its skin or change its body color, or it has the similar color of their skin according to their environment, huh? You may have heard about this grasshopper, parrot, that when they sit in the plants, we cannot uh, identify them, huh? We cannot like specify that which is a parrot and which is a leaf. So that type of feature is called as camouflage. Okay, then spines, we have already talked about it. When an animal has these type of spines on its body, definitely no other animal will come to prey it or to hunt it, because these spines may be very sharp and it will hit to any other animal and it will harm the other animal. So it is also a protective feature or a protective adaptation for certain animal. Then thick skin or scales like this, it is also looking very hard and very uh, spiky, huh? So it is also not allowing other animals to eat up that type of animal. Then is the poison. Yes, no doubt poison, as I already told, another name of poison or term for poison is venom, and I have told you about the snake, huh? So this is also very you can say uh, protective adaptation for snakes, because all of us we know that snakes have a very dangerous poison, so all the animals avoid to um, prey the snakes. And then bright patterns warning predators, like this frog is having very bright color over here, huh? So this bright color is warning the predator that I'm ready. If you will come to hunt me, I will protect myself. Okay, so these are the certain uh, protective adaptations which help the animals to survive in the environment. Okay, so this is about our last topic.